Alright, what's up y'all, it's Lake2 here, as you can see by the title of today's video, here to show you everything you know about Orthworm and Pokemon Champions. So, this is a pretty middle tier as far as usage goes. 66 is not anything too high, but I have to say, with how well he pairs with a lot of the meta Pokemon in this game, I'm surprised he's not being used more. This is a really disgusting setup capability Pokemon with the signature move Shed Tail, as you can see, and there's a couple Pokemon that get it. Like for instance, with our Paris Trap videos, if you guys have been tapped into that, having Heliolisk with a fast Shed Tail is a bit of a different environment though than the slow Shed Tail, and you might think that like fast equals better than slow, but in this case it's actually a little bit convenient to be slow. So you're going to lose half your HP in order to set up a substitute where it's only going to pretty much nullify a quarter of the damage that your teammate will take coming into it. However, it will make you immune to things like, Thunder Wave, Will-O-Wisp, etc, etc. Makes it so you also can't be flinched by a Rock Slide if you were to have a substitute up. So long story short, substitute can be very valuable, not to mention that the HP that Orthworm loses for using the Shed Tail is not that big a deal because you're going to typically carry the Citrus Berry on him. And then also with his signature ability Earth Eater, this is going to allow him when he takes ground type attacks to actually heal a quarter of his HP rather than be super affected by it like he normally would as a steel type. So if we come over here to his defensive type synergy, as well as just simply put his base stats being really impressive with the defense being through the roof, as you can see, what normally with a pure steel type leaves you with 3 weaknesses of fire, fighting, and ground is now an immunity. So this is even more elite, with obviously steel already being extremely powerful defensively, resisting. It's going to take us forever to even explain these, so you can see obviously all the resistances, but then only neutral to dark, ghost, water, and electric, and then super affected by fire and fighting. So if you want to run in with a berry or something like that to resist one of these, you could as well, but I think it's very common sense to run the Citrus Berry for the sake of using the Shed Tail with him. And again, it's even more than just an immunity with the ground because it's actually healing you. It's pretty much like the Dry Skin ability for Heliolisk as well. So these guys have a bit of overlap as far as their usage. However, obviously with Orthworm, it's way more defensive and slow. So some people, as we'll talk about in a second here, when we get to the natures and stuff, will actually run the speed down nature in order to like underspeed things like Incineroar, for instance, and be able to take the hits of whatever is going to be hitting them and then be able to get their teammate set up with the Shed Tail. So here's our quick little overview. Essentially, I have him rated a 3-star or maybe 4-star in singles. I feel like this is still kind of valuable to be able to have the Earth Eater ability for into opposing Garchomps and really wall somebody like Garchomp in a 1v1 setting. I mean, realistically, if it can't hit you with the ground type moves, and then it's going to hit you not very effectively with Dragon and Rock, and then you're able to threaten it back with something like Body Press or Heavy Slam or Iron Head or something like that as well, and you could set up. Or you could simply just say, you're not going to use Garchomp while I have my Orthworm on the field, and I'm just going to simply, pass off a Shed Tail to somebody who can then 1v1 your Garchomp. Like, let's say, for instance, a Floette, or opposing Garchomp. Like, you could have a Garchomp versus Garchomp fight, Dragon type, whatever the case may be, if you want to pass off the Shed Tail. Or someone that I didn't mention in this, offensive and defensive allies are gonna be Dragonite. Now, Dragonite with multi-scale ability pairs so well with the Shed Tail synergy as well, because when he gets passed off that substitute, it now is even harder. It's twice as hard to break Dragonite's substitute because of the multi-scale ability, making it so he takes half damage when he's at full HP. And when you're switching in off the Shed Tail, it pretty much guarantees you have full HP. So yeah, that paired with potentially having a Roost and stuff like that as well is kind of nasty. And then again, the fact that Orthworm kind of just matches up well with something like Dragonite, kind of walling things like Ice types and Dragon types, things that Dragonite gets super affected by as well. So that's a good ally. Another one would be obviously Garchomp. Pairing this with next to him is going to be extremely obvious. Something like a Mega Delphox, as you can see, this like trio is kind of slop, if you ask me. It's literally just like, a very obvious and easy to understand trio, but I'm not here to judge you for if you want to run something like this. It's just that obviously we see a lot of Garchomp in the format right now, and something like Orthworm plays into it even more and synergizes really well with Garchomp. So long story short, if you wanted to literally just run something like this and even you could go non-Mega Dragonite if you want, and just literally, this is what I was planning to do and wanted to do for that matter, but then everybody else started running it. So yeah, I found myself not wanting to do it quite as much. But yeah, with the fact that Mega Delphox and Orthworm both are like ice resists and can cover for Garchomp and Dragonite in that regard, while also again, pass that Shed Tail off to Dragonite. Delphox can cover for your fire and fighting weakness by defensive switch-ins, and also just in general can really offensively threaten the fighting types as well. And then if it's not like Incineroar or something that's dark type, it can still threaten a lot of those fire types back as well. So yeah, same with Garchomp, covering for your fire weakness offensively and defensively, and then Dragonite again covering for your fire weakness, and then also kind of the fighting weakness offensively too. So this is a really good core 4 that I don't really know what you could possibly want to bring other than them, to be honest with you, unless it's maybe to fight like opposing fairy types or something, maybe. But anyway, for the majority of the moveset that you're going to run, it's not too complicated. It's pretty much Shed Tail, Body Press to take advantage of a really high defense. This is going to use your defense stat as your offense. So essentially, if we go back to Earthworm's defense, imagine that you just move this defense slot over to where the attack says, and then that's what your body press damage is going to be doing. Now, if you go defense up, nature and stuff like that, and invest heavily into it, makes the body press even more threatening. Something like Heavy Slam or Iron Head are probably your like steel type coverage moves. I am a personal fan of the idea of not running them and just investing more into the preservation of Earthworm. So for instance, to go things like Helping Hand to bypass your low speed and, just help your teammate do big damage. For all that might be, it's an Earthquake that, again, it doesn't hurt you, but it hurts the opponents. Protect, Iron Defense are a couple of capabilities for the non-damaging moves as well. But yeah, Body Press, Shed Tail, kind of the no-brainers to have. Citrus Berry, again, like we said, very high usage rate. And then as far as the ideal natures, defense up, or defense up in many different ways. You could do it with like special defense up with special attack down, defense up with special attack down. You could also invest into the speed down natures once again to be able to ensure that majority of those base 60 speed Pokemon that you can end up underspeeding and actually get the Shed Tail off properly, like Primarina and Incineroar come to mind for the base 60s. What we can do as well is come over to Showdown and just simply go down to this like 60 speed kind of tier that we're going to be in. So like 65 as well, things are going to underspeed. Now, I'm not going to lie, a lot of Pokemon that are in the 65 range are actually quite bad, if we're being real. Like all of these dudes are kind of terrible besides Corviknight, if we're being completely honest. Earthworm in the Pelipper area, as you can see, something like Scizor, Umbreon. So like if you go speed down nature, you're gonna naturally kind of underspeed all of these Pokemon all the way down to, I would say, about at least 60. And then the ones that are in like the 59, 55 range, again, pretty bad Pokemon, all things considered. But you might have a chance at underspeeding them. Let me, for the sake of you guys knowing exactly what you're getting into with that. Okay, so in the world that we live in now, where you can't invest like, 0 IVs or something like that, like, because back in the day, you could do something like this, and boom, now you're even slower. But nowadays, we're kind of forced into the 31 IVs regardless. So you will not underspeed 55 base speed mons. However, anything that's above 55, like let's say even a Torterra, for instance, I'm guessing if we go ahead and just change this to 56, because we can simulate a Torterra speed, okay, it's gonna be speed tie. So basically, let's see, anything Rampardos and above, you are gonna underspeed, unless they're also speed down nature. But chances are a lot of these guys probably won't be. To be fair, I have a couple use cases where I have something like Primarina with a speed down nature, but it's not likely, at least, and you can probably bank on getting a little bit more value out of something like that, all things considered. So anyway, let's come back to the game real quick. Just to finalize some things here. We already talked about the allies and stuff, the abilities you want to run, moveset, etc., etc. Let's just go over to the usage rate of these natures, because as you can see, like there's quite a few of them running speed down. Like 31% is still very high, 32%, whatever you want to call it, all things considered. And then I think the standard, like easy one to run on Earthworm though is going to be special attack down if you don't want to do a negative investment into speed. I do think it's valuable, but it just depends what you're looking to get out of it, I guess. But it never really hurts to be slower in most cases, if you ask me. Other than, let's say, in Sin, if it can do a lot of damage with Flare Blitz into you to where it's not going to put you into citrus range. You know what? Matter of fact, this is what the video is for, if you ask me. So let's just go ahead and look into it. In Sin. And then I will go custom set. This is a defensive one. We'll just look at the defensive one and kind of see how this is looking. So if we go Flare Blitz and add this to the moveset here, and if it's Earthworm, so this is pretty crazy. So, oh wait, this is in the rain. Okay. So, non-invested anything Earthworm, it is going to put you out of citrus range. However, if we can go 252 HP, that is going to leave you in citrus range now, to where a Flare Blitz will let you live it, and then after the citrus berry, you'll have more than half HP and you can pass off your Shed Tail. If you want to go, obviously, with the defense up nature, that will help a lot right here in this case, and speed down will let you be slower than Incin. If you want to be faster than Incin, though, I would assume most people don't invest anything into their speed. So you could simply just leave yours at 0. If you want to be faster than things in that 60 base speed range and maybe let something like, let's say, your Garchomp take a hit from Flare Blitz from Incineroar, it will leave them in a little bit of disarray. Because, like, realistically, if you can pass off that Shed Tail to Garchomp, chances are the Flare Blitz easily does not take your sub down, and then you'll be able to actually like capitalize off that by leaving Earthworm's HP at 75% rather than to be way lower, because you're able to barely live the Flare Blitz plus, you know, the Citrus Berry, putting you then 50% HP even lower off the Shed Tail. So it just depends how you want to go about it. Do you want to be faster than Incineroar? Because I think that's going to be the really big use case of exactly who you want to either avoid or be able to deal with, essentially, when it comes to how you want to overspeed or underspeed him. But anyway, you could go multiple different ways. If you want to invest into the special debulk, you could do that as well. There will be some people, as you can see, that are investing in the special defense bulk. Actually, quite a few of them for that matter as well. Or you just go full physical defense, know exactly what Earthworm can stand in the face of, and if you could have a good chance of the lead of that, or if you also just want your body press damage to be even higher, you can invest that way as well. So just depends what you want to do as far as special and physical defense. But yes, obviously, majority of everybody is running Earth Eater on this guy. Sandvale is kind of crazy, but essentially what I want to just finalize here with talking about Earthworm is that it's at least a defensive wall that stands in the face of a lot of the meta threats. So not exactly Charizard, to be fair. It's certainly not a Charizard guy. Your special defense is pretty bad, and then also it's super affected by fire. However, you can stand in the face of Aerodactyl, both its moves, you know, Rock and Steel, and be able to easily tank those. Garchomp, easily tank everything because of your Earth Eater ability, you know, nullifying the damage that a ground move would do, and also the Dragon and Rock moves that he's going to use. So between those two, it's already quite high in terms of the usage rate. Sneasler, sort of. Dire Claw, obviously not going to work at all into you. Close Combat, however, pretty decent. But if we once again come back to this, and this will be the last one that I do, I promise. But if we do Sneasler against our Earthworm right here and give it like a custom set with, you know, the speed up, attack up, and all that stuff, Close Combat, still livable. If you wanted to put Shopple Berry, you could, but probably not going to be something you want to do quite as much. This is not an ideal matchup, but if you can use it as a switch-in pivot for the Dire Claw and then bait something like a Close Combat, you could just manual switch out on the Close Combat, send in, like, let's say Delphox or something like this into, you know, the Close Combat. So just a couple of ideas. You know, I'm not exactly giving you all the keys, I guess, in a perfect way, but it's just a couple of ideas to, like, set you up for success. So yeah, anyway, that's all for vid. If you guys enjoyed, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on noties, all good stuff. Like always, try us 1 to 200 likes, and if you made it to the end of the video and you want to show your support that you did, put Earthworm or put Worm in the comments, show your support you made all the way through. So shout out to the cool guy. I like him a lot. It's just unfortunate that, you know, we have to pander to the Garchomp supremacy of this game, because as you can see, homie is one of the highest used mons in the game. I will say, I guess, like, you know, Incin and Sneasler being so popular makes it a little bit tougher for Earthworm, but again, paired with Garchomp, I mean, both of these guys get really threatened by Garchomp. So for Garchomp to be on the field, let's say it's literally these four. It's Garchomp, Earthworm versus Sneasler and Incineroar, right? Pretty much, yes, the other two threaten big damage into you, but Garchomp's going to heal you as well. So it's like Earthworm goes last or second to last, depends where you fall in that pecking order of the Sneasler speed. So like Sneasler get Close Combat into you, I meant to say Incineroar, but Sneasler get Close Combat into you, Garchomp heal you, Incineroar try Flare Blitz. It's like if Garchomp happened to heal you in the meantime and your Citrus Berry popped, you're low key back up to almost 100%, and then the Flare Blitz gets lived too. So yeah, Garchomp, supremacy. It's just tough. It's tough for us to get away from. But if you are someone that's playing into that style, Earthworm is very good at playing alongside him. So anyway, that's all for vid. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to check out more, feel free to check out the playlist that's popping up on the screen right now. And other than that, take it easy, man. Peace.